Nobody in that stadium was ready for what went down at GNX 2026. Not the fans, not security, not the staff, and definitely not Kendrick Lamar or Baby Keem. One moment, the whole arena was vibrating, lights blasting, the crowd chanting "Family Ties," like the ground itself was shaking. And the very next, the music cut out mid-beat, the screens glitched. Every spotlight collapsed into darkness, except one, shining dead center on Kendrick like someone had hijacked the show. At first, people thought it was some insane new cinematic transition. But then Baby Keem backed away from the edge of the stage, staring into the sea of 50,000 people like he had just seen a ghost walk out of the crowd. Kendrick followed his eyes, and the second he locked onto the same figure, his entire expression changed. Not anger, not confusion, fear, actual fear. Security started rushing the barricade. Fans began pushing backward, screaming, trying to record and run at the same time. Someone backstage yelled, "Shut it down, code black." And suddenly the pyros died, the floor lights exploded into emergency red, and Kendrick grabbed Keem's arm like he was ready to bolt off stage. Whatever or whoever just appeared at GNX wasn't part of the show. It wasn't planned, it wasn't safe, and it wasn't supposed to be there. And the craziest part? This moment wasn't even the peak of the chaos. It was only the first spark. To understand why Kendrick Lamar's face drained of color at GNX 2026, and why Baby Keem froze like someone unplugged his entire soul, you have to go all the way back. Because this wasn't just a random shock moment. This was the eruption of years of tension, secrets, and quiet emotional landmines buried deep inside the Lamar family and the PG Lang empire. See, people always talk about Kendrick like he's untouchable. The Pulitzer-winning, culture-shifting rap prophet who stays out of drama and keeps everything neat, intentional, calculated. But what most fans forget is that behind the genius and the mystique, Kendrick is human. He has fears, he has grudges, and he has ghosts, especially the ones he thought he left behind in Compton. And Baby Keem. Keem has always been the wild card, the golden protege, the younger cousin who somehow carried Kendrick's DNA and his own brand new creative spark. Their bond looked unbreakable, 2 generations of Lamar blood building something never seen before in hip-hop. But what fans didn't see were the cracks forming underneath. Because behind the smiles and the music videos and the family ties, there was a third person connected to the Lamar bloodline. Someone who had been locked out of the fame, the success, the empire. Someone who believed Kendrick and Keem had taken the life he deserved. Someone whose absence was never explained publicly, but very intentionally erased behind the scenes. A half-sibling, a former collaborator. A problem Kendrick thought was handled years ago. Let's rewind. Back in the early 2010s, before Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, before Kendrick became a legend, there was a kid in Compton who swore he was going to blow up before Kendrick ever got his shot. He rapped with intensity, studied Kendrick obsessively, and bragged in street circles about being the real Lamar talent. This kid wasn't just loud, he was dangerous, resentful, the kind of person who couldn't handle someone else winning. He had the same father Kendrick had. He had the same dreams Keem had. But he didn't have the discipline, the guidance, or the opportunities. And when Kendrick started to rise, when the industry started whispering his name, when Dre's camp began scouting him, when TDE started pushing him, that kid snapped. He tried to insert himself into Kendrick's early sessions, tried to start beef online, tried to position himself as Kendrick's rival, even though Kendrick refused to acknowledge him. TDE shut it down. Kendrick walked away. Family members stepped in. And eventually, the kid vanished, or so everyone thought. But resentment doesn't disappear. It grows in the dark. Fast forward to the rise of Baby Keem. Keem's success reopened every old wound. Because Keem wasn't just Kendrick's cousin, he was proof that Kendrick could lift his own blood into superstardom. The forgotten sibling suddenly felt like the ultimate betrayal had happened twice. Kendrick made it without him. Then Kendrick lifted someone else up. And that's when the disturbing rumors started. People around Compton whispered about someone obsessed with PG Lang. Someone collecting old footage, old DMOS, family photos. Someone convinced Kendrick owed him everything. Someone who believed GNX 2026, the biggest music event of the year, would be his moment. Kendrick heard bits and pieces. Keem heard even worse, and both of them made the same decision: never speak on it publicly, never feed the fire, never let the world know the threat existed. But what they did do was increase security, quietly shift travel plans, cancel certain appearances, avoid locations where this person was rumored to be. Still, they didn't expect him to show up in front of 50,000 people. Not after years of silence, not after everything that had happened, not after the private restraining orders, the legal threats, the family meetings. Yet the exact person Kendrick and Keem thought they'd never see again walked straight into GNX 2026. No warning, no message, no hesitation. He came with one goal, and the moment Kendrick and Keem locked eyes with him, their entire history, the pain, the guilt, the betrayal, the fear, came slamming back all at once. And for the first time in both of their careers, they realized the past wasn't done with them. Not even close. Because this person didn't come just to confront them. He came to expose something. And the first shocking twist, that was only seconds away. When the lights at GNX 2026 cut out, everyone thought it was a technical glitch or some wild artistic moment. But for Kendrick Lamar and baby Keem, that blackout felt like a nightmare returning. They knew instantly, instinctively, that this wasn't a coincidence. There was only one person who would force himself into their world this dramatically. The music died, the crowd screamed, and Kendrick's eyes locked onto a figure stepping out from the pit area, the same figure he had been avoiding for over a decade. The half-brother, the ghost of Compton, the one who swore Kendrick stole his spot, the one Kendrick's team had legally pushed out of his orbit. The one who believed Keem became famous in the position meant for him. And now he was here, at GNX, walking straight toward the stage barricade like he owned the place. Security noticed too late. Baby Keem froze. His stomach dropped, hands shaking so hard he nearly fumbled the mic. Fans assumed he was overwhelmed by the glitch. But no, Keem recognized that face instantly, because Kendrick had warned him about this man for years. "Keenan," Kendrick whispered under his breath, barely audible, but Keem heard it like a siren. "Keenan is here." That was the real name, the name nobody online knew, the name that had been erased from Kendrick's narrative on purpose. Keenan Lamar, the self-proclaimed missing chapter of the Lamar story. And he was walking straight into the middle of 50,000 shocked fans. The build-up to disaster security started to move, but Keenan wasn't rushing. He wasn't threatening. He wasn't yelling. He was doing something far scarier. He was smiling. A slow, taunting smile like he had already won. The crowd didn't recognize him, but they saw Kendrick freeze. They saw Keem stumble back. They saw both superstars react like someone had just ripped open a wound they'd spent a lifetime covering. Fans screamed, "WHAT's happening? Is this part of the show? Why does Kendrick look terrified?" Phones shot up everywhere. Streams spiked into millions instantly. Kendrick motioned for the band to cut everything. Lights flashed red. The atmosphere collapsed into panic. And Keenan stepped onto a barricade rail, lifted up by people who had no clue they were helping the villain of the story, and shouted, "It's time to tell the truth, Kendrick." The entire stadium erupted. Security lunged for him. Fans gasped. Keem dropped the mic. Kendrick's entire body went still, because Keenan wasn't just here to disrupt the concert. He came to expose something. Something Kendrick had been terrified the world would find out. Something Keem begged Kendrick to address privately. Something that could shatter Kendrick's carefully built legacy. The moment everything exploded, security finally grabbed Keenan, but he didn't resist. He wanted to be restrained. He wanted the cameras on him. He wanted the world listening. And before they could pull him away, he leaned into the mic he'd snatched off a fan live stream and yelled, "Kendrick, tell them who really wrote those songs. Tell them who you left behind. Tell them why I'm not in the family pictures." The stadium fell dead silent. Kendrick's heart stopped. Keem looked like his soul left his body. Fans' jaws dropped, because those weren't just accusations. Those were career-killing allegations. Ghostwriting, family abandonment, dark history. Kendrick had never been touched by scandal like this, and Keenan wasn't done. As security dragged him away, he screamed, "Kendrick Lamar is a fraud. I built the early DMOS. He knows it. KEMKNOWS it. Y'all been celebrating a lie?" The clip hit the internet before he was even off the stadium floor. TikTok exploded. Twitter crashed. Reddit threads formed instantly. Kendrick scandal, GNX chaos, who is Keem Lamar, all trended within minutes. Kendrick stepped back from the stage edge, chest heaving. He wasn't angry, he was devastated. Keem grabbed his arm, whispering, "Unc, we need to leave, now." But Kendrick shook his head. "No, if we run, it looks guilty." The crowd didn't know whether to boo, scream, record, or run. The energy in the venue was completely unmoored, pure confusion and adrenaline. Then GNX staff made a fatal mistake. They put Kendrick's face on the main screen, and the world saw it. Kendrick Lamar, hip-hop's most untouchable legend, was shaking. Not furious, not composed, not in character, just shaken. The fans went wild with speculation. Did Kendrick really have a secret brother? Is this man telling the truth about ghostwriting? Is this why Kendrick disappeared for years? Was Mr. Morale hinting at this? Even worse, Baby Keem's reaction didn't help. Keem had tears forming, not from fear, but from guilt, because Keem knew more than the public. Keem knew a piece of the past Kendrick never revealed. Keem knew Keem was involved years ago. Keem knew this moment was coming. He just didn't think it would be this public. The first shocking twist, just when GNX security finally dragged Keem toward the tunnel, he shouted one last sentence that changed the entire narrative instantly. "Check the hard drive, Kendrick. You know what's on it. I left it in your dressing room." Kendrick's entire expression collapsed. Keem whispered. He didn't. Kendrick didn't answer, because he knew Keem wasn't lying. There was a hard drive. There was something on it. And if anyone found it before he did, his entire legacy, career, reputation, and future could be destroyed in minutes. Kendrick bolted off stage. Keem sprinted after him. Security panicked. GNX shut down the show, and the fans were left in total chaos, chanting, "Kendrick, what's on the drive?" Because the truth, nobody knew what Keem put on that hard drive, except Kendrick. And whatever it was, he was terrified. And this was just the beginning. The second Kendrick and Baby Keem sprinted off that stage, GNX 2026 went from concert to crime scene. Security barricaded hallways. Crew members screamed into radios. Fans were stampeding toward exits, terrified but desperate to stay online long enough to catch every rumor. And Kendrick? He wasn't thinking about the 50,000 panic-stricken people above him. He wasn't thinking about the live streams blowing up worldwide. He wasn't even thinking about Keem being dragged out by 8 security guards. His brain was locked on one thing, the hard drive. The one Keem claimed was sitting in his dressing room. The one containing something Kendrick never wanted seen. Keem kept pace with him, panting, voice shaking. "Unc, he's bluffing, right? He has to be bluffing." But Kendrick didn't answer, because deep down, he remembered that drive. He remembered the project. He remembered the mistakes, the demo recordings, the abandoned songs, the early sessions before he was Kendrick Lamar, Pulitzer-winning icon, back when he was just trying to outright the whole world. And there was one file on that drive, one track, one recorded argument caught accidentally, a fight between Kendrick and Keem, a fight the world was never supposed to hear. The race to the dressing room. By the time Kendrick and Keem reached the backstage corridor, GNX security had already sealed the area. But Kendrick pushed through, no hesitation, no explanation, and they let him through. He's Kendrick Lamar. Nobody stops him when he's moving like his life is burning down around him. Keem grabbed his shoulder. "Unc, what are we walking into?" Kendrick whispered back. "A mistake I made when I was young. The kind that destroys careers. The kind that gives your enemies ammunition forever." And the closer they got to the dressing room, the more Kendrick felt like he was walking toward a funeral, possibly his own career. But when they rounded the corner, security was already there. Investigators, GNX officials, 3 cameramen who had somehow slipped inside before being pushed back, and a crowd of staff whispering urgently, "Did someone break in? Is this connected to the guy from the pit? Why is Kendrick freaking out? Is it true? Did someone ghostwrite for him? Is Keem involved?" The rumors were already mutating. Kendrick shoved past all of them and burst into the dressing room and froze, because the hard drive was sitting exactly where Keem said it would be, right on the table, plugged into Kendrick's laptop. Open, someone had already accessed it. Keem's voice cracked. "Oh my God." Kendrick lunged toward the computer, but GNX staff held him back. "Sir, we need to secure this device. Move!" Kendrick barked, a tone he almost never used publicly. But then he saw something that made him stop cold. There were fresh fingerprints on the keyboard, not Keenan's. Someone else touched that drive, someone else opened those files, someone else saw the recordings. Keem backed away slowly. If they leaked anything. And that's when a GNX tech stepped forward, pale, sweating. "Kendrick, we didn't open anything. But someone did before we locked the room down." Kendrick's heartbeat slammed against his ribs. "Who?" he whispered. The tech swallowed. "We don't know, they left through the side exit." A ghost inside the building. Someone who came and went without being caught, but then came the second blow. "And there's more," the tech added. "A file has already been copied." Kendrick went silent. Keem staggered back into the wall. Someone took the audio. Someone took the evidence. Someone took the one thing that could ruin Kendrick Lamar's legacy forever. But who? The second major twist. An unexpected suspect before anyone could process the theft. GNX security radioed with breaking news. "We found out who accessed the dressing room." Everyone froze. Kendrick's fists clenched. Keem whispered, "Please don't say his name." But the reply was Keenan. It was worse. Security footage identifies a woman wearing an artist access badge. She entered Kendrick's room 4 minutes before the chaos began. Kendrick's knees nearly buckled. Keem stared, confused. Who the hell would do that?" GNX staff exchanged glances, and the head of security said, "The badge belonged to someone from another artist's team." Kendrick's eyes widened. Another artist, another performer, someone in the industry, and then the name came. She was part of Drake's touring staff. The room erupted. "Keem, no way you're telling me." Security. The woman escaped the arena through a restricted loading bay. But Kendrick knew. He knew exactly what this meant. This wasn't just Keenan's vendetta. This wasn't just family drama. This was industry war. Because Drake and Kendrick, their tension didn't start with diss songs. It started years ago. Back when Kendrick refused collaborations. Back when industry insiders claimed Drake felt Kendrick was too arrogant to work with. Back when Kendrick dropped subliminals Drake always felt were directed at him. And now, someone tied to Drake's team had stolen a hard drive containing Kendrick's most sensitive recordings. The timing wasn't coincidence. It was chess. Kendrick stared into the mirror across the room, sweat dripping down his face, and whispered, "This is bigger than Keenan." Keem swallowed hard. "So what do we do?" And Kendrick answered with a sentence that sent chills through everyone present. "We find that file before Drake does." Because if that recording leaked, Kendrick's spotless legacy, PG Lang's empire, Baby Keem's career, Kendrick's entire identity would collapse in minutes. And as Kendrick stormed out of the dressing room, ready to start a war he never wanted, security grabbed his arm. "Sir, wait, there's one more thing." Kendrick turned slowly, and security delivered the final blow. "We also found a second device in your room, and it wasn't left by Keenan." Kendrick frowned. "What device?" The guard lifted a small black envelope. Inside was a phone, unlocked, recording, and on the screen a message, "You're running out of time." Kendrick froze. Keem whispered, "That's not Keenan's style." Kendrick nodded. Because the handwriting, the tone, the precision didn't belong to Keenan. It belonged to someone much more calculated. Someone who had been watching this family war from the shadows. Someone with power. And someone who just inserted themselves into the story. The real mastermind hadn't even shown their face yet. And Kendrick realized GNX 2026 wasn't an attack. It was a warning. And the worst was still coming. The chaos backstage was nothing compared to the explosion happening in the outside world. Within minutes, the GNX incident became the biggest story on the internet. Not just trending, dominating the entire platform. Every hashtag was Kendrick-related, Keem-related, Keenan-related, or conspiracy-related. Kendrick exposed Baby Keem crying GNX shutdown, who is Keenan did Drake do it Lamar family drama, PG Lang crisis, TikTok went insane. Instagram was flooded. Twitter was on digital fire. Fan reactions were so chaotic they felt like mini investigations. Wait, Kendrick has a secret brother? Is this real or a PR stunt? Ghostwriting allegations? No way. Why did Keem look like he saw a demon? Drake's team stealing a hard drive? That's war. YouTubers went live instantly, screaming theories. Podcasters dropped emergency episodes. Music blogs pushed unverified leaks. Even TMZ showed up at the GNX gates. But the emotional fallout inside the artist world? That was even wilder. Reactions from celebrities and the industry rappers started choosing sides. Some subtle, some messy, some outright performative. J. Cole posted a blank black screen with the caption, "Protect Kendrick at all costs." Fans lost their minds. Drake's burner account energy was crazy, posting 3 laughing emojis on a cryptic post about truth always coming out. Tyler, the creator, tweeted, "I knew that dude was trouble." Nobody knew which dude he meant. SZA posted, "Don't play with family wounds like that." The Weeknd unfollowed Drake for 20 minutes, then refollowed him, then posted a broken chain emoji. Fans still don't know what that meant. Meanwhile, Kendrick's own team, PG Lang, went into lockdown. No statements, no clarifications, no explanations, just silence, which made fans even more loud. PG Lang is hiding something. Kendrick is guilty, why is he so quiet? Where is Keem? Why isn't he speaking? What's on that hard drive? Baby Keem's breakdown goes viral out of everything happening. One clip broke the internet the hardest. A fan's shaky backstage livestream where you can briefly see Baby Keem crouched against a wall, hands on his head, crying. The audio caught him saying, "I told him this would happen, I told him." That clip alone did 32 million views in 2 hours. People felt heartbreak, confusion, concern. Keem looks traumatized. What did Kendrick hide from him? What was Keem scared of? Suddenly, the narrative wasn't just about Kendrick. It was about Baby Keem being caught in the crossfire of Kendrick's past. And everyone wanted answers. GNX, MAKES, it worse, GNX officials tried to calm the situation, but their press release made everything explode even more. An unauthorized individual accessed restricted areas and interacted with performer equipment and belongings. Fans immediately asked, was it the brother or Drake's staff? What exactly was accessed? Is GNX covering up what happened backstage? The venue had no answers to give, and every unanswered question made everything worse. KNNDRICK's family reacts. This is where the story turned nuclear. A woman claiming to be Keenan's aunt went live on Facebook and said, "Kendrick been scared this would come out. He knew Keenan wasn't lying." The clip hit TikTok faster than wildfire. Suddenly, everyone believed she was telling the truth, even though nobody confirmed she was actually related. Meanwhile, Kendrick's real family stayed quiet. No statements, no refutations, no clarifications. And their silence was louder than any confession. The emotional damage. Kendrick sat in a locked GNX dressing room, head in his hands, trying to process the avalanche happening above him. Career on the line, legacy on the line, family on the line, millions of fans demanding answers, Drake's suspicious involvement, Keenan's allegations echoing across the internet like sirens, a stolen hard drive somewhere in the wind. And the worst part? Baby Keem's trust was cracking. "Why didn't you tell me everything?" Keem whispered. "I stood next to you on that stage like everything was fine." Kendrick didn't respond, because how do you explain a mistake from 15 years ago that suddenly threatens to crush everything you built? The World Wants Blood music blogs asked if Kendrick was finished. Rival artists subtly celebrated the chaos. Fans split into factions. Some defended Kendrick with blind loyalty. Others tore apart his entire catalog looking for clues. And in the middle of the noise, in the middle of panic, in the middle of the emotional fallout, one thing became painfully clear. The drama wasn't slowing down. It was accelerating. And the next twist wouldn't come from Keenan, wouldn't come from Drake, wouldn't come from the GNX venue. It would come from someone nobody expected. Someone who had been watching everything unfold and was ready to pull the rug out from under both Kendrick and Keem. Because just as the world started choosing sides, a new voice dropped a message that changed everything. "If y'all want the truth, I'll release it myself." Who said it? That's the twist coming next. The entire internet froze when that message hit every platform at once. "If y'all want the truth, I'll release it myself." No username, no profile picture. Just a brand new account created minutes earlier, but instantly verified, instantly amplified by the algorithm, instantly screenshotted by millions of people. At first, everyone assumed it was Keenan. He had just blown up GNX, screamed accusations into a live stream, and exposed the Lamar family feud to the world. But before the internet could settle on a theory, the account posted again. "This is Keenan. This is Drake's camp. This isn't GNX. This is someone who knows exactly what's on that hard drive." The comment section detonated. Who is this? Is this an insider? Producer, engineer, friend, enemy? Why does this sound like threat? Backstage, Kendrick stared at Keem's phone screen in disbelief. A chill slid down his spine. This wasn't Keenan's voice. Keenan was chaotic, impulsive, sloppy. This voice, it was calculating, cold, dangerously informed. Keem's breathing accelerated. Someone else had access to those files. Kendrick didn't answer because he already knew the truth. There was one person who had been there in the beginning. One person who recorded those early sessions. One person who kept backups of everything. One person who disappeared quietly when Kendrick became too big. A former engineer. A former collaborator. A former friend. Someone Kendrick trusted during the earliest years, before fame, before Pulitzer, before superstardom. Someone who felt erased. And the internet was seconds away from figuring it out. The reveal that almost happened, the anonymous account posted again. "You've hidden this for long enough." Every blog went silent. Every fan held their breath. Journalists started refreshing like their lives depended on it. Then a fourth message dropped. Keenan wasn't lying, but he didn't know everything. Kendrick stepped back, feeling sick. Keem grabbed his arm. "Wait, there's more than what Keenan said." And Kendrick finally whispered, "Yes." The account begins dropping, receipts. A file appeared, a pixelated screenshot of a recording interface. Timestamps, track names, raw vocals. Fans zoomed in. One track name stood out, Pre-KDOT Masters Final. People lost their minds. What is that? Older than GKMC? Unreleased? Ghostwriter proof? But before anyone could decode it, the anonymous account deleted the image, then posted, "You're not ready, but Kendrick is." Kendrick dropped into a chair, head in his hands. Keem felt his body go cold. Who is this?" Kendrick looked up with the expression of someone confronting a ghost. "I know exactly who it is." But he didn't say the name, because saying it out loud would make it real. And then, the worst possible thing happened. The account posted a final message. Hard drive upload. 12%, 15%, 20%, they were uploading the files. To the public. To millions, to everyone. Kendrick jumped to his feet. Keem panicked. Security tried to trace the signal, failed. The upload continued. 27%, 35%, 42%, Keem shouted. "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" But whoever was behind this, they were untouchable. GNX officials started screaming into radios. Kendrick's team tried to shut down Wi-Fi in the arena. Fans watching live streams counted down the numbers like they were watching a bomb timer. 58%, 71%, 83%. Kendrick slammed his fist on the table. He whispered, "Not like this, not this way." Keem whispered back, "What's on that drive, Kendrick? What are they trying to expose?" Kendrick finally answered, barely audible, "A mistake I made before I became who I am today." Keem froze. "Is it career-ending?" Kendrick didn't respond, because the upload hit 99%, 100%, then error, upload corrupted, file incomplete. The entire world gasped, and the account posted one final sentence. Next drop, 24 hours, then vanished, deleted, gone without a trace. Kendrick looked at Keem, eyes full of dread. Keem whispered the only question that mattered, what are we supposed to do now?" Kendrick took a shaky breath. "We get ahead of it. Or it destroys us." And with that, the screen faded. The world waited, and the Lamar family's darkest secret was now on a 24-hour countdown. If you're still here right now, staring at your screen, heart racing, trying to make sense of everything that just unfolded, trust me, you're not alone. Because what we just witnessed at GNX 2026 wasn't a performance mistake, wasn't a family argument, wasn't even normal celebrity drama. This was a full-scale eruption of secrets, betrayals, missing chapters, and hidden history that Kendrick Lamar has avoided for over a decade. A secret brother showing up in front of 50,000 fans, a stolen hard drive, someone inside Drake's camp breaking into Kendrick's dressing room. An unknown mastermind threatening to leak Kendrick's early recordings to the entire world. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is a war, and the opening shot has already been fired. So now the question is, fire what's really on that hard drive? Fire who is the anonymous uploader counting down to another drop. Fire why did they say Keenan didn't know everything? Fire and is Kendrick finally about to confront a past he's been running from for years? We're about to enter the next chapter of the biggest rap scandal of the decade. And trust me, the explosions haven't even started yet. So before you scroll, before you switch videos, before you get lost in the comment section chaos, backhand index pointing right hit that like button so more people see what's really happening. Backhand index pointing right subscribe because tomorrow's 24-hour drop is going to end careers. Backhand index pointing right turn on notifications because the second that leak hits, we're breaking it down. Backhand index pointing right drop a comment. Do you think Kendrick can survive this? Is Keenan telling the truth? And who do you think the real mastermind is? This story is nowhere near over. Part 2 is coming, and it's going to get even darker.